Hello, this is your board report for June 2015. I want to give you a quick overview of the action of our board and summarize some of the events or high points of our board meeting. The board met at 12 o'clock as usual here at the ESD, and we started with our typical agenda items of planning our agenda and approving the consent agenda. We invited a series of folks to join us for the day to recognize them for their exemplary work, including our Human Resources Department. We recognize them for the amazing job they have done in managing the NeoGov transition, implementing new software for their program, which manages the placement of position openings, the application process, and the screening process for now 31 school districts in the Capital Region. We also recognize staff who completed a program of study, earned a certificate or a degree. So congratulations to all of our staff for their great work in fulfilling our second goal area, which is to grow our people. There was a presentation to the board by Mike Hickman, Aaron Reif, and team in relation to mental health services. We received an overview of data in our region, which indicates that a significant number of young people in late elementary, middle school, and high school struggle with depression, anxiety, and thoughts of suicide. Aaron and team covered the services that they provide, the counseling pilot programs that we have going on in Rochester and communities in Mason County, and some of the lessons learned throughout that time period of service just this last year. It's an initial foray into providing direct services for mental health, and we're very excited about what the possibilities are and look forward to continued growth. The board was very actively involved in questions and answers and looks for a further report in September as we consider providing behavioral support services to districts in Thurston County. The usual reports were provided from Sandy Nelson and Cal Brody related to Head Start Early Childhood and our fiscal program overview. Both programs are working towards both the wrap-up of this year and preparation for next year. Sandy's program, Head Start and Early Childhood, we're focusing on their grant application process for renewal of their 5 years of funding from the federal government. Cal provided a very brief overview of the fiscal status of the ESD. You'll be glad to know we're in sound financial footing, but more importantly, transitioned later to informational items related to our budget. Cal Brody provided an overview to the board of our budget for 2015 and 16. We're in the final stages of getting the very last bits of our budget prepared for board review in July. We'll also be presenting it to the Executive Advisory Committee of Superintendents next week on June 23rd. We're planning for a 2% salary increase for staff across the agency, with the exception of Head Start and Early Childhood, who are continuing to work on what's available for them. We're hoping for a salary increase more than 2% for those individuals, so we can begin to provide adequate compensation for the staff in early childhood. There was a very brief overview of the eval contract. We received an extension from the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction to fund continued work through October, and a first read of our 5000 series policy revisions related to Policy 5210, which has to do with our drug-free workplace. Action items from the board included approval of the 5-year grant for Early Childhood Head Start, a second read of our policies and procedures, concluding almost in its entirety our review of the 5000 series, personnel series, in our policy manual. We closed an impressed account for youth work experiences, approved the audit from the State Auditor's Office, and approved a revision to the board meeting calendar, which will move our August meeting back 1 week to accommodate travel among board members. Rick Anthony provided an overview of the work of the Association of Educational Service Districts here in Washington, which included an introduction to the interlocal agreement that is between all 9 of the ESDs, establishing protocols for how services will be provided across the state between and among educational service districts. A lively discussion followed, and we continue to be interested in the framing of that document and had numerous suggestions for revision. There had been very little legislative activity in the past month, unfortunately, so there was a brief report in terms of legislative work by Rick Anthony. We're all anxiously awaiting the final state budget and are hoping very much that the budget will be completed before June 30. After that time, a state shutdown of all but essential services will need to occur. As I'd sent an email last week, the Educational Service District will continue to be in operation regardless of state budget, and we feel we're at nominal risk for program closure should a budget not be enacted by the legislatively required date of June 30. I provided a quick report to the board with regard to some activities of the past month, one of them being a TEDx conference that we hosted here at the ESD, a wonderful opportunity to learn from and hear from 11 presenters from our region. We also held a WASA 113 awards banquet recognizing community partners and excellence in education within our region. We had over 90 people in attendance, so it was a very successful evening of awards and celebration. I also shared that we had published our school board connection and framed some of the work session goals that came out of the previous month's work with the board. The meeting adjourned at roughly 2:30 in the afternoon, and we are looking forward to our July board meeting coming up, where the primary board action will be approval of our budget for 2015-16. As always, if you have any questions or if you'd like further information, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to respond via email, by phone, or just simply stop in at your convenience. I hope you make it a wonderful end of June, and you're looking forward with family, friends, and other community members to a great celebration on the 4th of July. Enjoy the sun while it's out.